gun violence is uniquely American.
And so are fluffy, friendly, well-behaved unicorns that poop rainbow sherbet. But that doesn't make them real.
Hey guys, before we get into today's video, I want to give a real quick shout out to today's sponsor, Virtual Shield VPN. And the reason I promote it, guys, is because I use it every single day and I know that it works, and I've proven it in videos in the past. If you use the link in the description, you're going to get 50% off, and that's going to help you protect your identity, your activity, and your location anytime you're surfing on the net. That link is in the description below. Suspect in custody after 3 people killed. Reportedly, 3 people were killed and multiple injured in a reported shooting at Oxford High School in Michigan. And just to give you a quick lowdown, and in case you haven't heard about it, and this right here, one of the first things I thought about was, are they going to vilify and villainize the inanimate object called the long rifle, the AR-15 or the AK-47 again? And in this case, apparently they didn't find a long rifle, but they found a semi-automatic handgun. This is another way to vilify and villainize an inanimate object and criminalize everybody who happens to hold said inanimate objects. A 15-year-old Oxford High School sophomore, they say, armed with a semi-automatic handgun, they say, is accused of shooting at his school Tuesday afternoon, killing 3 students reportedly and injuring 7 others and a teacher. The incident unfolded in about 5 minutes, and the police said the shooter, who was not injured, was arrested, turning himself over to the authorities, and from what I heard from this press conference right here, exercised his 5th Amendment right to be silent. We're gonna listen to what resident governor and tyrant Gretchen Whitmer says about this here in a second. Of course, you know where she's gonna go on this. She's gonna use some ad hominems. She's gonna employ some euphemisms, because you know you have to vilify the weapon so you can criminalize those holding the weapon. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald said that she planned to issue, quote, appropriate charges quickly, and that the community has her commitment and promise that she will seek justice. Michael McCabe, the Oakland County undersheriff, who lives about 1.5 miles from the school, said at a news conference it appeared the suspect worked alone, and investigators are interviewing students and scouring social media for clues to a motive. That seems like projection to me, where it gives them an open door to all social media accounts so that we can keep this kind of stuff from happening again, including your social media accounts and my social media accounts. We're going to tap into the NSA, and we're really going to spy on the people in our area. Because it's one thing for an NSA agent in, I don't know, Langley, Virginia, looking at a computer screen, viewing what you say and what you view. And then it's a whole nother thing where somebody in your community, some law enforcement agent in your community, taps into that database to find out what people in his community are doing so that they can, you know, keep any mass casualty event from like this from happening in the future. Police said the 3 slain students were a 16-year-old boy and 2 girls, 14 and 17. 2 of the other victims were in surgery late Tuesday evening, and the other 6 were at hospitals in stable condition, they say. Now, what does Gretchen Whitmer say? Because she issued a statement not long after this. Was it pre-prepared? I don't know. But can you capitalize on the situation? Of course we can capitalize on the situation. Of course we can vilify an inanimate object. Of course we can criminalize those who may hold this inanimate object. Listen to what she says. Today, Governor Gretchen Whitmer released the following statement after the deadly shooting at Oxford High School in Oakland County. My heart breaks for the students. I didn't know political parasites had hearts. Go figure, Skippy. Teachers, staff, and families of Oxford High, the death of multiple students and the shooting of many others, including a teacher, is horrific. I want to thank the first responders on the ground working hard to keep people safe as law enforcement officials and authorities investigate this shooting. And we'll don't worry, we'll get the truth. Everything these authorities and these officials say is going to be the truth. And we already know at this moment, if they're not already there, the FBI has moved in, the ATF has moved in, the CIA has moved in. They're going to take control of the situation, and we'll definitely get the truth from them then. Remember, like that thing that happened at that place in CT, initials SH, that you can't talk about unless you're top shelf, authoritative source, mainstream, fake stream, CIA, infiltrated Operation Mockingbird media. I want to thank the first responders, the law enforcement officials investigate this shooting and get the community the help it needs right now. And then she says, as Michiganders, we have a responsibility to do everything we can to protect each other from what? From people who use guns in an irresponsible manner? No. Break out the euphemism. Gun violence. Guys, let me just say, I'll put it in question form. Is there such a thing as gun violence? Is there such a thing as inanimate object violence, scissor violence, bat violence, stapler violence, hammer violence, knife violence, gun violence? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is an open door to have them go after the guns afresh. And they have to keep on going. Remember we saw in that CNN article, it's like, but we know that calls for gun control are at an all-time low, but with every single incident, mass casualty event, then we get more desensitized and brainwashed to, hey, we need some gun safety regulations around here. If we had more laws, this wouldn't have happened. Nobody stops to think, hey, okay, first of all, let's just ask a question. You know, inanimate objects don't commit violence. We all know that. You got to be a psychopath to actually believe that inanimate objects caused all this problem. But that's number one. The second thing is, where do all these incidents actually happen? Oh, that's right. They happen in gun-free zones. As a matter of fact, since 1952, the majority, like upwards of way more than 95% of these incidents happen in gun-free zones. Hey, you want to protect those kids? Why don't we do away with the public school system? You don't see mass shootings happening in homeschool environments. Mass shootings for homeschool, 0. Mass shootings in public schools, I can't count that high. As Michiganders, we have a responsibility to do everything we can to protect, keep each other safe. It's all about security. You just need to give up a little of your essential liberties so that you can obtain politically promised security, which never comes. And if you beg for that politically promised security and shelf your essential liberty, then you deserve neither liberty nor security. So one of the founding fathers said that, hey, that's not me. Do you really think you deserve liberty when you gave up the majority of your liberty? Oh my God, I don't want my gun to jump off the shelf. Gretchen Whitmer's right. I have the responsibility to make my community safe. Here, I don't trust myself with this dangerous firearm. Gun violence. I can't even stand that euphemism. No one should be afraid to go to school, work, a house of worship, or even their own home. Then don't be afraid. Empower yourself. So when you go to school, work, house of worship, or even in your own home, have a personal protection device. Empower yourself. Learn how to use that thing. Become a great marksman. So that those people who jeopardized your life and the lives of your family members, don't have a chance. Here's what she says. Gun violence is a public health crisis that claims lives every day. I would say this. I would say political parasites are a public health crisis that claim way more lives than anybody else possibly could. Authoritarianism claims more lives than heart attacks. How do we know this? In the last 100 years alone, over 250, I think it's excluding wars, over 250 million people in the last 100 years. Actually, the number is that's just a conservative number. 250 million people lost their lives because they trusted that the government that they were under would keep them safe, and they disarmed themselves. Well, now we can't protect ourselves. I sure hope I was right about that. You weren't. You'll never be. Because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when they're so dead set on becoming more and more powerful, they don't care who they have to steamroll over to reach their objective of grabbing more power. Because at some point, it's not even an issue of money anymore. It's like they froth at the mouth with power so much that they just want more power. All right, I already have 5 mansions. I already drive the nicest automobiles. I have chauffeurs drive me around everywhere I go. I got a security detail surround me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have all the food that I could possibly eat. All the luxuries that life can afford me. Now I just want more and more power. It's like a drug. Gun violence is a public health crisis that claims lives every day. No more lives than the big pharma industrial complex. No more lives than the military-industrial complex. No more lives, not even close on anything, these things, than the war on drugs, which is really a war on people. We have the tools to reduce gun violence. There is no tool to reduce gun violence because there's no such thing as gun violence. This is a time for us to come together and help our children feel safe at school. You want to help your child feel safe at school? Don't send them to school. Look how safe you are. Zero shootings, zero mass casualty events at any homeschool anywhere in the country ever. You do want your kids to be safe, right? Well, protect their minds, protect their bodies. Don't send them to a government indoctrination camp. There you go. Problem solved. Problem solved. You don't want to be a fish in a barrel? Then don't go to a gun-free zone. Or if you go to the gun-free zone, for goodness sakes, don't be a frickin' law abider. Those people get killed. You know what a gun-free zone does? It victimizes law abiders and it empowers criminals. It does the exact opposite of what it claims to do. But then isn't that politics? Politics makes this lofty promise and the exact opposite happens. Patriot Act. Was anything more unpatriotic? Affordable Care Act. Was there anything more unaffordable? $1.8 billion for a website that didn't work. Healthcare.gov. Hello. My heart is with the parents. I didn't think governors had heart. I really didn't. I bet if you do an x-ray on these governors, they don't have a heart. My heart is with the parents who had their children taken away from them today and with the entire community of Oxford. You okay? All right. Gun violence. All right. Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting really quick. So make sure you and your family have a long-term storable food supply. Support the channel and get $50 off with my link in the description while you still can.